Last week we saw George Ritchie's experience of a very active heaven. People reading, working, building, exploring, crafting, discovering. Just imagine what that's like. Exploring new dimensions of reality that you never knew were there. Now, as I've prepared these devotions and studied this material, it's been very exciting for me to revisit lots of scripture passages that I've known for years, but to see them with new eyes. It's really fun. And John Burke compares our experience of these heavenly things from reading about them to kind of like seeing a painting of the southern coast of France compared to actually living there, right? You can kind of get the picture, but it's nothing close to actually being there on the ground. Now, all the wonder and beauty and joy that are ours in this fallen world that we live in are only a flat, two-dimensional series of brushstrokes compared to the endlessly multifaceted, multidimensional world that he has for us to experience. Let me read you about it. This is from Don Piper. He said, "As I looked around, I could hardly grasp the vivid, dazzling colors. Every hue and tone surpassed anything that I had ever seen. With all the heightened awareness of my senses, I felt as if I had never seen, heard, or felt anything so real before. I don't recall that I tasted anything while I was there, but I knew that if I had, that too would have been more glorious than anything I'd eaten or drunk on earth. The best way I can explain it to you is that I felt as if I were in another dimension. Never, even in my happiest moments, had I ever been so fully alive." Now, Professor Dallas Willard, he chaired the Department of Philosophy at USC. He's one of my favorite theologians. He once said, "Time is within eternity, not outside of it." When we pass through what we call death, we don't lose the world. Indeed, we see it for the first time as it really is. It's common for Christians to think of our place here as being in time and to think of heaven as in eternity as though those are somehow totally different. But it's not really true. Eternity fully unites heaven and earth, the spiritual and the material worlds, into one, and thus is the eternal expansion of our time and space existence. The fabric of space-time, as we experience it, exists within the reality that we call heaven. And so in death, we rise from that two-dimensional painting of the southern coast of France to experience the real thing in all its sensory glory all around us. So imagine a world where time is not an enemy that you're trying to outrace. There's no countdown clock you have to beat. There's no honking to move faster in traffic. Imagine a world where travel is not wearisome, where distance is not something to be overcome. Imagine a world where all the sights and sounds, the light and color, the music and movement come alive in a way that brings euphoric ecstasy. And now imagine returning from that world into the two-dimensional painting and trying to describe it to others. That's the frustration these people with near-death experiences feel. And as we try to see things through their eyes, my hope in telling these stories is for you and me to read the Bible with new eyes, to see what's there that we might have missed before. That's today's Lenten vision, and I'll see you tomorrow.